All right, today we're going to talk about percentages. So the first thing I want to talk about with you guys is what a percentage means. And all that little symbol means is the phrase out of 100. You can actually even make the number 100 with the percent symbol. You can actually take this little slash, twist it around a little bit into a 1. And then you can take these two zeros and use them to make the number 100. So you can always think the percent symbol can be rearranged to make 100. That helps you remember that. So 56% means 56 out of 100. 1% means 1 out of 100. 10% means 10 out of 100. Now we learned about rules and fractions that we're supposed to reduce our fractions. So if I see 10 out of 100, I know I can actually just cross out a 0 from each of those. That's really easy to reduce. That's the same thing as 1 over 10. So 10%, not only is it 10 out of 100, but it could also be the same as 1 out of 10. Now, our goal today is to turn percentages into decimals. So our goal is to get from percent form to decimal form. In order to do that, we have to remember how to turn a fraction into a decimal. If you recall, if I want to turn 1/3 into a decimal, let's say I forget what it was, I don't have it memorized, I just do 1 divided by 3 in my calculator. So I just do the top divided by the bottom, and I press the equal button or the enter button or whatever calculator you're using. All right, so over here I have 35% as a fraction. That means 35 out of 100. So if I wanted to make that into a decimal, I would do 35 divided by 100. And if you type that in your calculator, you're going to get 0.35. If I do 25%, that's 25 out of 100. That's the same thing as 25 divided by 100. And if I type that in my calculator, that's 0.25. And if I keep going here, I'm going to get the same things. All right, so just to speed it up, your calculator would say 0.03 and 1.28. All right, so it's not too terrible to do that. Now, that's a lot of steps to do something that's actually a lot quicker if you just remember the trick. We actually did dividing by 100 earlier this year without calculators. We don't need a calculator to handle this. If you recall, to divide by 10, there was a trick to it. All right, there was a way that we did that with no calculator. All we had to do was we moved the decimal left 1 time. So if we want to divide by 100, I'm still going to move the decimal left. We always move left for division. But because there's 2 zeros, I'm going to move left twice. And since percent means to divide by 100, we're always going to use this trick right here. So for now on, when you see the percent symbol, if you want to make it into a decimal, you're going to use this little trick right here. You're going to just move it left twice. That's all there is to it. All right, so I have a little box here for you to help yourself remember without having to dig through your notes too much. To go from percent to decimal, you just move left twice. And that's what we're going to do for all of these problems. Now, the first thing I want you to do is for like number 1, I don't see a decimal. So the first thing I want you to do is I want you to write 45 point, 13 point, 21 point, 1 point. 5 point. Now this does have a decimal, so I'm just going to rewrite it without the percent symbol because that's messing me up a little bit. 3.5 100 point. So I'm writing all my numbers so that I can see a decimal. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the decimal, I'm going to swing it left. I'm going to handle that percent by swinging it to the left 1, 2 times. So we're going to do that for all of these. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. And if you remember, anything that's open, we drop a 0 in. 1, 2. 1, 2. Drop a 0. 1, 2. Now you gotta drop 2 zeros. 1, 2. Drop 1 0. Now we're going to write our answers nice and pretty. So wherever you see this arrow is where your decimal goes. So the decimal goes here, and then the 4, and then the 5. That's your answer. Decimal goes here, the 1, and then the 3. Point, and then the 2 and the 1. Decimal goes right here, and then we have a 0 and a 1. All right, you go ahead and try the bottom row. I'll put the answers up in 1 sec. All right, you give it a shot. All right, you can go ahead and see if you got them all. I have 1.0, 0.035, 0.0002, 0.05. So hopefully that worked out okay for you. The last problem I have is for you to put the numbers in order, and we're going to do it with no calculator. Our goal is to get better at our number facts. Calculators don't necessarily help us with that. So we're going to try to use our tricks. 2 9ths. There's a 9th trick. It's just the top number over and over and over again. 1/3, that's 0.3 over and over and over again. 23 is just 23. If it helps, make it a 0.0. 0.01 is just 0.01. All right, 10%. We got to turn that into a decimal. So if I write 10 point, and I move the decimal 1, 1, 2. Now it's 0.10. All right, 3/4. That was 0.75. That's 75 cents. Actually, 3/4. 74%. If I do my little trick, decimal 1, 2 is 0.74. So your job is to put all of this money in order, starting with the smallest. So the smallest money would be this 1 cent right here. So that's going to go first. And I'm going to cross it out. Now look for the smallest number here. It looks like 10 cents is next. Now it really wasn't 0.10, it was 10%. So I'm going to write it like that. I'm going to cross that out. Then I'm going to look for the next one. Looks like 22 cents. That was really 2 9ths. So that one's next. The next one would be 33 cents, $23, 75 cents, or 74 cents. So 33 cents would win, and that was really 1/3. And then looks like 74 cents, which was actually 74%. And then 75 cents, which was 3/4. And then $23 was the biggest amount. So now you got all your numbers in order. So we still turn it into money, and then we figure out who the smallest is and work our way up. And that's about it.